Dear learners, in the last class, so we already covered exploratory data analysis. So what are the steps in data analysis? So my name is Srinivas. Now in this class, I'm going to deliver the topic understanding data. So in the previous class, we seen what are the steps in data analysis. So first we need to gather the data and then we need to construct the model. After that, we need to perform the data analysis. So once we collected the data, we need to understand the type of the data. So in today's class, I'm going to deliver the class on understanding data. What kind of data? So the data may be numerical data. The data may be categorical data. I'm going to explain what is numerical data and what is categorical data with examples. For example, coming to the numerical data, which is having numerics. So the attributes that are having the values as numerics. So for example, marks. So what are the possible values for the marks? Numbers, 60, 70, 80. So this comes under numerical data. So attribute having numerical values. So such kind of attributes are said to be numerical data. Now coming to the categorical data. So we are having limited number of possible values. So the attribute that is having limited number of possible values. So those are called categories. So that comes under the categorical data. For example, grade. So if you consider grade attribute, what are the possible values for the student grade? Either S grade, A grade, B, C, D, E or F grade. So there are 7 distinct values. So those are grade S, grade A to grade F. So here this is called categorical data because we are having categories. S category, A category, B category, like that we are having categories. So this comes under categorical data. So first, whenever we collected the data, first we need to understand the data. So understanding data in the sense, we need to identify the type of data, whether the data is numerical data or whether the data is categorical data in any data set. So as I already told, example, numerical data, marks are having some numerics, 60, 70, 80. So that comes under numerical data. Next, categorical data, that is having categories. For example, a grade. So the grade of a student may be either S grade, A grade, B grade or F grade. So those are the categories. So that comes under the categorical data. So again, coming to the numerical data, again we are having different types. Let us see what are the types in numerical data. So coming to the numerical data may be discrete, the numerical data may be continuous. Discrete, continuous. Discrete means, again, we are having some limited number of possible values. So that comes under discrete. Continuous means the value will be continuing. So later we will see with an example. So discrete numerical data is having numerical values which are limited. But continuous numerical data is having the values in continuity manner. So for example, let us consider the student attribute pass. So I'm taking 2 possible values, either 1 or 0 for the attribute pass. Pass equal to 1 means the student passed. Pass is equal to 0 means the student failed. So that comes under the discrete. Next, attended. Again, attend. So let us consider one more attribute, attend. So attend 1 in the sense the student present within the class. The student present within the class. So attend equal to 0 means the student absent for the class. So that comes under the discrete, which are having only the possible values either 0 or 1. This comes under the discrete data. Now coming to the continuous data, which is having continuous values. So for example, MSET rank. So one student might be getting the rank 1, the other student get rank 2, 3 and so on. No repetition among the values. The values will be continuous, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, maybe 1,10,000 or 1,20,000. So I cannot specify the range for this. Either 1 to 1,10,000, 1 to 1,20,000. So we cannot specify the range. So that comes under continuous. So continuous in the sense, continuous numerical data in the sense, the values will be continuity manner. So example, MSET rank. MCET rank is having the possible values 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Maybe 1,20,000 or 1,30,000. So that comes under continuous data. So these are the categories in numerical data. Numerical data may be discrete, numerical data may be continuous. So these two are the categories in numerical data. Coming to the next category, categorical data. So as I already told that categorical data is having limited number of possible values. Those are called categories. So as I already told, example grade, which is having limited number of possible values, 7. Even if you consider 1 lakh students data, if you consider the grade, only 7 values will be repeated. So there are only 7 categories. So that comes under categorical data. So now let us see what are the types in categorical data. First, nominal. Second one, ordinal. Third one, interval. Fourth one, ratio. Let us see one by one. Nominal. So as I already told that this categorical data is having limited number of possible values. So for nominal attributes, there is no order among possible values. So for example, color. Consider color. So color, we are having a limited number of possible colors. White, black, for example, white, black, red, green, blue. Like that, we are having limited number of possible values for the color. And there is no order among these values. White is the first or black is the last, red is the first. Like that, there is no order among these possible values. Hence, it comes under nominal attribute. In categorical data, again, we are having different types: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So, coming to the nominal, for nominal attributes, there is no order among the possible values. For example, let us consider color. So, we are having limited number of colors, either white, black, red, green, or blue. So, and there is no order among these values. White is the first, black is the last. Like that, there is no order among these values. Hence, it comes under nominal. Next, ordinal. Second one, ordinal. So, there exists an order between the possible values. So, that comes under ordinal. So, for example, grade. As I already told that grade comes under categorical. So, the possible values are S, A, B, C, D, let us assume F. And there exists an order. S grade is the highest grade, next A grade is the next grade, next B grade, C grade, and D grade, last F grade. So there exists an order between the possible values, hence it comes under ordinal. So best example, grade. Now let us consider some of other attributes. For example, address or country name, address / or country. Again, countries are limited, either 10, 20 or 30. The number of countries are limited. Hence, it comes under categorical. Categorical, whether it is nominal or ordinal, country name. So, it is categorical, but whether it is nominal or ordinal. So, country, there is no order among the countries. India is the top, next US is the next. Like that, there is no order among the countries. So, country comes under nominal. Next, year of study. The possible values are 1, 2, 3, 4, and there exists an order. First year, second year, third year, fourth year. So like that, there exists an order. So that comes under ordinal. Actually, year of study can be numerical data, and it is having limited number of possible values, no continuous values. Hence, that comes under discrete also, year of study. So this is about ordinal. The main difference between nominal and ordinal attributes are nominal attributes does not have any order among the possible values. But coming to ordinal attributes, so there exists a possible order among the possible values. So example, grade. There exists an order for the grade. So next, third one, interval. So in some cases, we are going to convert the numerical data into intervals. For example, let us consider marks. To categorize the marks into grades, S grade, A grade, B grade, like that, there exists an interval. For example, 90 to 100. 90 to 100 S grade, 80 to 90 A grade, 70 to 80 B grade, 60 to 70 C grade, 50 to 60 D grade, 40 to 50 E grade, less than 40 F grade. So now in this example, marks comes under interval. Here we are having the range of values 90 to 100. So I am representing that as an interval. So in this example, marks comes under interval data, grade comes under ordinal data. So like that, we are dividing the numerical values into intervals. in order to categorize the data. So this is the example for interval data. Next, ratios. So coming to the ratios, where we are having the total by the count. So that such kind of data we are going to represent as a ratio. For example, percentage. How to calculate the percentage? Total of the marks. Total of the marks. For example, total of the marks 540 by number of subjects by 6. 540 by 6. So now the value 90.00. So that comes under ratios, where the data is represented by the total by number of count. So this is the categorical data. Now categorical data may be nominal. There is no order among possible values. The categorical data may be ordinal. There exists an order between the possible values. The categorical data may be interval. So numerical data can be converted into interval categories. Next, the numerical data may be converted into ratios by using total of the count by number of values. So that comes under ratios. So this is the categorical data. Before understanding the data, first we need to identify what is the type of data. There are two types of data, majorly numerical data and categorical data. Coming to the numerical data, again it may be discrete data or continuous data. Coming to categorical data, it may be either nominal, ordinal, interval or ratios. So now I'm going to take an example. For example, let us come to health sector. In every sector, there exists a real world problem. To solve that problem, first step is we need to collect the data. So coming to health sector, now we are going to record the patient's data. So I'm going to collect the patient's data. Now let us see patient ID. Patient ID, we are giving continuous values. So it comes under continuous data, because whenever we are giving one ID for a patient, so the next patient will get the next ID. So like that, so the patient ID will be continuous. For example, first patient P101. So same ID we want to give to the next patient. So definitely we will give another patient ID P102 for the second patient. Like that, the data will be continuous in this manner. So this comes under continuous data, patient ID. Next, patient address or city. So we are having limited number of possible values for the city. So either Tadepilligudam, Yeluru, Tanuku, like that. There will be limited number of possible values for the cities. So hence city comes under categorical data, and there exists no order. There exists no order between the cities. Yeluru is the first, Tadepilligudam is the next, like that. There is no order among the cities. So this comes under nominal. So city comes under nominal data, where we are having limited number of possible values and there is no order among this values. So this comes under nominal. Next, symptoms. So symptoms are also categorical. We are having limited number of symptoms. For example, high BP or low sugar level. So like that, we are having limited number of possible values for the symptoms. So it comes under nominal, and there exists no order between the symptoms. So that's why this comes under nominal data. So next, body temperature. For example, body temperature. So body temperature comes under the numerical data, and the body temperature will be continuous. So at a time, for example, one time the body temperature may be one value, okay, no, 98, or another time the body temperature may be increased to 200. So like that, the body temperature comes under this continuous numerical data. So like this, whenever we are collecting the data in any sector, first we need to understand the type of the data, whether the data is numerical data or whether the data is categorical data. Why we need to understand the data? In order to find the statistics for data analysis, in order to perform data analysis. So in order to find these statistics, first we should know the type of data, whether the data is continuous or whether the data is nominal or ordinal. Like that, we need to identify the data. So health sector, the example data set, I considered this and identified the type of the data. Now, if you take another sector, again, the data might be changed. For example, if I am considering education sector, another example, education sector. In education sector, so we are maintaining the student data. We are maintaining student data. Again, student ID, what information we are going to store in this student data? Student ID may be continuous. Student ID comes under continuous because we are having continuous IDs for the students. Next, let us consider student address or city. Again, that comes under nominal. Next, student address or city, that comes under nominal because there is no order among the cities. So that's why this comes under nominal. For example, let us consider the department. Now the departments, so civil engineering, if the student belongs to civil engineering, CE, mechanical engineering, ME, electrical engineering, EE, like that. So department comes under categorical data. Now whether the department is nominal or ordinal, whether the department is nominal or ordinal. So there exists an order between the possible values. For example, first civil engineering, branch code starts with 01. So that's why I'm giving the first order civil engineering. Second, EE. Generally, EE branch code starts with 02. Mechanical starts with 03. ECE starts with 04. So there exists an order between the possible values. So this comes under ordinal department. Next, coming to the sections. So let us consider in a ECE department, we are having 3 sections. So the possible values are either A, B or C, 3 sections. So here sections comes under categorical value because we are having only 3 possible values, either A, B or C. So it comes under categorical. Whether that is nominal or ordinal. What are the possible values A, B, C? Is there any order among those values? There exists an order. Roll number 1 to 60 will be in A section. Roll number 61 to B0 will be in B section. Next, B1 to last will be in C section. So that comes under ordinal. Sections comes under ordinal because we are having only 3 possible values, either A, B, C section, and there exists an order. A grade, first to 60, roll number 1 to 60 will sit in A grade. So there exists an order A, B, C. So that comes under ordinal department. And what about this roll number 1 to 60? What type of data this is? Or 61 to B0. So here it is interval because we are having range of values 1 to 60. So that is the interval data. So this is the difference between interval and ordinal data. So like that, if you consider any data, now here I consider student data. So for each attribute, I am going to identify what is the type of that data. So if you consider student data, the attributes are SID, student ID, continuous. Next, student address or city, so which is nominal. Next, department, which is ordinal. Sections, ABC section, which is again ordinal. Percentage comes under ratio. So next, similarly, if you consider MSET rank is again continuous. So like that, for every attribute, we need to determine the type of the data, whether it is numerical data or categorical data. If it is the categorical data, what is whether that is nominal or ordinal, interval or ratios. So in this way, we need to identify the type of data. So that is the first step in data analysis. Whenever we collecting the data, the first step is we need to identify the type of the data, whether the data may be numerical data or continuous data. So in the next class, we are going to see how to find statistics for this data. Thank you.